What's up, everybody? My name is Adam Palmer. This is Daily Nonsense. On today's show, we're going to be talking a lot about grading. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. If you're a new viewer, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any future Daily Nonsense content. Let's get into it. Every month, GemRate, which I think is one of the best data people in the whole industry, they put out phenomenal data on grading. They just basically follow the numbers here and they put all this out. So in September, here were some of the changes, some of the increases, some of the decreases from the four biggest companies. So PSA, CGC, Beckett, and SGC. So PSA had 1.5 or 1.55 million cards. They also had 714K sports cards, which is higher, or actually, no, it's not higher. It's for 844,000 TCG, which year over year, that's up 93%, but it's down 17% month over month. And then it's almost the opposite for sports. They're down year over year 4%, but they're up 10%. So I think that those numbers are always very interesting. So CGC then 505,000. They are up over the year, which I think a lot of this, yeah, I mean, it's like of the 500,000, 400,000 of them are TCG. So they're up in total, they're up 248% in year over year. And then month over month, they're up 15%. Then Beckett, kind of surprising, having a little bit of a resurgence here. Beckett, 77,000, so still not like a ton of cards that are getting graded by Beckett. But the numbers here that I think are interesting, month over month, it's up 20%. And then year over year, it's up 67%. Now, we're going to get to SGC, which I still don't fully understand what has happened here. So month over month, they're down 49%, and then year over year, they're down 59%. They are grading basically no TCG, so I would say it's probably 60K graded total cards. They graded 56,000 sports. So I wonder where everyone. I mean, I guess it makes sense because Beckett is up and PSA is up, so like that's where people are going. But just because PSA says they are going to slow things down at SGC doesn't mean that people just need to completely stop sending in cards. I guess. I mean, in theory, that is sort of what I hoped would happen. I hope that maybe people would still send cards into SGC, but it's part of maybe something that I think in the sports card industry is a little bit confusing and a little bit frustrating to me, that the news of something like this can affect SGC so dramatically. It doesn't. It's just because people are moving on to the next thing. Like people who maybe they were grading SGC cards for so long, they saw that news and they said, well, now I'm just going to go to PSA, or now I'm going to go to Beckett or CGC. And I think CGC is also very interesting as well coming into this conversation. About 30% of the total cards graded by PSA, and like Beckett 77K and SGC 60K. Obviously, they blew those two companies out of the water when it came to the total amount of cards they had graded. And those numbers for SGC are shocking to me. Those numbers from SGC are shocking to me. I didn't think that the industry would just completely shift gears and completely go away from SGC the way that they have month over month, because we are continuing to see a decrease in total cards graded. Now, obviously year over year, but we've seen month over month since they announced this, basically since the National and since PSA announced that they were going to be making SGC more of a boutique, which is what I think that's the term that they use. Since that announcement, people have been just moving away from SGC in droves. And that's something where the industry, like I said, frustrates me a little bit, because SGC, I think, is still a really good option. And also the fact that SGC, even if they go away, there's still going to be SGC graded cards. I just don't, it is crazy to me that many people were getting cards graded with SGC in the first place, and that they just completely are moving away. The numbers to me don't make a lot of sense. They don't add up. Like, obviously people are moving away, but it's like a 50% drop from month over month is like catastrophic for a company. So I don't know if PSA, like, I don't know what they're going to do with SGC. And that's sort of maybe the part here that I think I'll end kind of this part of the segment, is that maybe people are scared to get their cards graded by SGC now because they don't know what PSA is going to do. Because PSA went and they bought SGC, And I just, I thought that they were going to do PSA and the SGC was just going to be a cheaper option where you could still get a decent amount of value for like a high graded card. And people were getting a lot of cards graded, vintage cards graded because they looked pretty good in the black slabs. And there was just a bunch of reasons why I thought even though PSA bought SGC, SGC could just continue to do business as usual. But I guess if I had to guess, just thinking of some numbers here, maybe PSA wants people to grade cards with PSA, not SGC. They're probably making more money on PSA graded cards than they were SGC cards, and they are taking a competitor out of the marketplace. PSA made that announcement like last week or earlier this week about how they were upping the prices and they were upping the turnaround times. And it's like, if they just keep SGC running, would they even have to do that? And it's all falling under the collectors and PSA bucket. But I guess, like, obviously, if you're a business owner, you would want somebody, if you have a bunch of different products, if you're a business owner and you have a bunch of different products, you want people to spend their money on the more expensive product. And that's one of the impressive things I think actually with PSA is that they have been able to sustain the level of how many cards they can get graded, and the price of all of these cards has sustained kind of along the way. Like we are seeing, if you're getting a 6 or a 7, sure, you're probably losing value on grading, unfortunately. But that's sort of the risk when you are getting cards graded, is that you could send in a card that you think is in good condition. And most of the time nowadays, if you're sending in any modern cards, if you're getting anything less than a 6, then you really must have missed something on that card. Most modern cards, if you look at their pop reports, the 8s to 10s are like what all these cards are getting graded at. And the value of those cards really shows that as well. And so, like I said, if you are a business owner, you want people to spend money on the product that's more expensive, that is just as popular, which would be PSA's grading instead of SGC's grading, because SGC is obviously cheaper and it's a quicker turnaround time. So, in theory, maybe there is less or there's more resources at SGC, and they want to move people over from SGC over to PSA to help with some of their stuff. But at the same time, it's like, why are they then increasing why are they increasing the price and increasing the turnaround times, and then also getting almost rid of their cheaper, faster option with SGC? Obviously, it's a business decision here, and they're making business decisions. But again, it's when they make the statements that they're trying to make the experience better for the collector. I just don't think that's correct. I don't think that they actually mean it. Like, if they actually meant it, grading would be cheaper, it would be faster, SGC would still be roaring, and they would be promoting SGC as part of a PSA entity. And it would be like they would figure out a way to, give SGC the same runway that they're giving to PSA. So, like, it's obviously a business decision. That's fine. I think they want to make more money, and I'm not going to fault them for wanting to make more money here. I just think in this industry, there will always be a desire for cheaper and faster grading, cheaper, faster, and you're still getting a decent amount of value when you get these cards graded. And I think that was one of the impressive things that SGC was able to do. They were able to sustain value similar to what PSA is doing at maybe a little bit of a smaller scale. But like, PSA is such a monster in this industry, and they grade so many cards every single day and every single month. Like, just in the month of September, they on average were grading 52,000 cards a day. So it's like, how many graders do they have? How many systems do they need to have in place to grade that many cards in a single day? It's actually really impressive. And they're grading all of these cards, and the value of these cards are kind of still sustaining. I mean, if you're looking at modern or ultra modern, obviously anything you're getting graded that's less than an 8, you're probably losing the value on that card, unfortunately. But if you are getting a 10, you're upping the value of the card. If you're getting a 9, you're probably breaking even, depending on what service you use to get it graded, and then obviously what card you're getting graded. And in theory, I kind of hope that CGC and Beckett can make a little bit more progress here when it comes to the competition that they are going to offer to PSA in this industry. But I mean, grading just in general has always been a hot button topic and issue. So, the fact that SGC is now sort of being squeezed out by PSA, which is weird because they own SGC, is unfortunate. But again, it's just something in this industry where you have to look at and say everything is always changing. And this is maybe just another change that's going on in the industry. That's all we've got for today's episode. Make sure you leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about today's topics. Also, come back here to the Sports Card Nonsense YouTube channel every day for more daily nonsense. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.